Fasten your seatbelt. I am taking you for the ride of your life. I'm going to show you what this car can really do. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Hang on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hold on to your butts.
Forget him, kid.
To infinity and beyond!
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Not a tumor at all.
So you can go ahead and ask me what you're going to ask me, and my natural response could be to get offended.
Well, fine, let's talk about it.
Any thoughts of your own on this matter? Or is that your thing? You come into a bar, you read some obscure passage, and then pretend you pawn it off as your own idea just to impress some girls?
Just another American who saw too many movies as a child.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All right.
You're listening to the 30-something movie podcast. One movie each week, 30 years in the making. Hey everybody, it's our family and relationships month, so let's talk about a movie with creepy kids. Because why not?
Why not?
Everybody's got them.
Well, that's true. That's true. Pat, I need to make a quick comment to you real fast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So the people at home can't see this right now, but we're on the Zoom call and we can see everybody's videos. And Pat, you have a lighting fixture that is all I can see because you've got your phone, I think, pointing up towards the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm having some eats, and I just don't, want you guys like watching me shovel food in my mouth.
No, that's fine. But all I can think of when I see that light fixture up there is,
yeah.
Lights!
Yeah, that's all I can think of. So anyway, that's
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Now I found the little thing on my Zoom screen where I can see my picture, and I see the four lights, but then I also think of, what was that ray? It was in the original series. They put him in the tube and they shot him with the ray. It was the invisible ray, and it made that sound effect, woo, 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 kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it somehow
everything on the original series made that sound effect.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but it wasn't the box. It wasn't the pain box from the alternate thing, but it was like, it did something to erase their brain.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't the planet with Landru. What was it? The one with the, I don't know.
Gosh, and I just watched a lot of original series recently, but I know I can picture it, but I can't, I'm not locking in an episode.
We were in a music team meeting. Well, John is Googling the answer, and it was funny. We were in this music team meeting.
Is it Dagger of the Mind?
Dagger of the Mind. That looked, because remember they put him in that thing that looked like a shower?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go back after I watched Strange New Worlds. I'm going to go back and watch that just so I can hear that woo kind of sound effect. But it was funny. We were in this the
neutralizer.
The neutralizer.
The neural neutralizer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a neural neutralizer in our house.
There you go. You might want to get that checked out.
So, I might need to get some blood work on that one.
Yeah.
So we were in this meeting, and I remember, I made some comment. Somehow we were talking about who's really in charge and who's making the decisions. And I'm just like, look, if we get all the way back to this such and such, when we go there and we find out it's some computer named Landru telling us what to do, I'm going to be really disappointed. And you can cue the crickets. Like, everybody in the room was looking at me. And it's funny because, and he used to work at Hawthorne, and it was the other band director at the middle school. His name was Chuck.
Yeah.
Big Star Trek fan. And he leans over and he goes, Pat, you realize you just lost the entire room with that reference. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? Nobody watches Star Trek here? And he's like, no, Pat, that it's done. I said, well, you watch it, because he had the big picture on the wall up. But yeah, I pulled Landru reference and everybody lost them. Gone.
You pull the Landru.
There's no accounting for taste.
I know.
You pull the Landru reference, and the only correct response is,
That's extraordinary. What would you like to do next?
What would you like to do next?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, this episode we're going to be talking about The Good Son, which is not Algonquin for Milwaukee, but it is The Good Son. starring Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood. So if you want to see Kevin McAlister and Frodo Baggins get into a fight, this is the movie for you.
Speaking of a dagger through the mind.
Battle of the Bowl Cuts.
Yeah.
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 Some have the Battle of the Bulge. We have the Battle of the Bowl Cuts.
Okay, and I'm just gonna get this out of the way right now.
Go for it.
Dad, bad stuff is happening. Well, have you gone to Uncle? What's his name? Well, yeah, but they won't listen. Okay, I'm gonna get there as soon as possible. Well, like 3 days passed and he didn't even show up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was he doing? Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm just okay. I'm good now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good now.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna go back to my quiet place.
Well, because we know that Pat, you're not a fan of the movies where children are put in danger.
Mm-mm.
And there are several moments in this movie where there is potential murder. Yeah. Of children. So. All right, well, real quickly, we spoil freely here, so be warned. If we start to talk about a movie and you don't want to hear anything about it, hit that little skip button maybe once or twice, and we've probably moved on at that point. Make sure you visit our website, 30podcast.com. You can leave a rating, a voicemail. You could become a co-executive producer via Patreon over there. We've got a bunch of bonus episodes on that platform. We are also turning 500. We've got our 500th episode coming up very, very soon. And there is a section on our website talking a little bit about that and how you can contribute to our 500th episode. If you have a story of you mowing your lawn and you have a favorite moment of the podcast that made you laugh out loud and accidentally cut some kind of weird zigzag pattern into your lawn, and it turned into the movie Signs and things got weird, and I don't know, feel free to let us know. You can leave a voicemail. You can email us. You can use the hashtag 30pod500 across any of the social media platforms that haven't imploded by this point. Whatever you want to do. But just share that stuff with us. We would love to hear from you. We're going to be recording that one probably within the next few weeks. So you got a little bit of time to get your stuff in there. But we would love to hear from you and kind of love to hear, what you've enjoyed about the show over the years that we've been doing it. So. All right. Let's see. Let's just jump right on in here. This one came out on September 24th, 1993, rated R for some obvious reasons. Runtime of 1 hour, 27 minutes, directed by Joe Rubin, who did Sleeping with the Enemy and The Stepfather. Writer was Ian McEwan, who did Atonement and On Chesil Beach. Producers were Mary Ann Page and Joe Rubin. Mary Ann Page did Home Alone 3 and Miracle on 34th Street. Rubin did Money Train and True Believer. Composer was Elmer Bernstein, who did The Magnificent Seven and To Kill a Mockingbird, as well as Ghostbusters and Animal House. Cinematographer was John Lindley, who did Pleasantville and St. Vincent. Editor was George Bowers, who did Private Benjamin and From Hell. Production company, 20th Century Fox. Budget was $17 million. Box office was $60.6 million. Did not have a cinema score for this one. Flickmetrics gives it a 54%. Macaulay Culkin plays Henry. He was in Home Alone and My Girl. Elijah Wood was Mark. He was in The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Wendy Crewson played Susan. She was in Air Force One and The Santa Claus. David Morse played Jack. He was in The Green Mile and 12 Monkeys. Daniel Hugh Kelly played Wallace. He was in Cujo and Star Trek Insurrection. Jacqueline Brooks, who died in 2013, played Alice Davenport. She was in The Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, and Ghost Story. Quinn Culkin played Connie Evans. She was in Wish Kid and Only the Lonely. Ashley Crowe played Janice. She was in Minority Report and Little Big League. Guy Strauss played Mr. Highway. He played Mr. Highway. Well, that's a weird credit to have in there. Because Mr. Highway was the dummy, so I don't know. That's kind of weird. That might be a mistake. Let's chalk that up as a mistake. We'll throw that one overboard.
I think you just summed up the movie. Let's just chalk it up as a mistake.
Let's just chalk it up as a mistake. So anyway, a couple of quick trivia things for this one. Jesse Bradford was originally slated to play Henry, but Macaulay Culkin's father wanted his son to star in this movie and said, if you don't put him in here, I'm pulling him out of Home Alone 2. So Fox agreed to his due to his bankability. So they removed the other actor and put Macaulay Culkin in. My understanding, with a lot of the background of this movie, my understanding is Macaulay Culkin's father just kind of bullied his way into getting whatever he wanted.
It seems that way for sure, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because they switched, like they delayed production on this for over a year because of all that, so that Macaulay Culkin could be in it. But he had to film Home Alone 2 first. So originally, Mary Steenburgen was supposed to be in this as the mother. And she had to drop out because it was taking too long to make the movie. The director had to drop out at some point, either because of timing or because of disagreements with Macaulay Culkin's father. So it just kind of sounds like there was a lot of Macaulay Culkin, or Kit Culkin, I think was his father's name, kind of bullying people around and throwing his weight around.
You remember that Next Gen episode where the Little Rascals won?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want it now. Now.
Yeah.
That's what, John, as you're narrating this, that's kind of what I think of.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I want it now. Now.
The thing that makes the Greatest Gen podcast when they record the episode is that they play the Harry Potter soundtrack.
Yes.
Whenever they do that drop.
Yes. My problem is, and this is, of course, this episode will get released probably at least a couple weeks after this has happened. I'm going to have that in my head the entire time this Friday because I'm taking my daughter to the Harry Potter convention in Chicago.
Oh.
So I just know that I'm going to have that in my head the whole time. That like I'm going to see merchandise that we may be interested in buying and just be like, I want it now.
No.
That actually has become like when I in my head, or if I'm like joking about something and I do an impersonation of Harry Potter or any of the characters within Harry Potter, that is actually the voice I use now. I've just stolen it from Greatest Gen.
That's awesome.
I'm Harry Potter and I want it now. Let's see. Macaulay and Elijah were trained by stunt coordinator Jack Gill, rehearsed for 6 weeks before shooting the climactic scene so they could be comfortable acting while hanging from a cliff 180 feet above water. And actually, when Henry's mother drops it, spoiler alert, when Henry's mother drops him, a shot of Macaulay Culkin himself falling away from the camera on the actual cliff was required. After discussions with Culkin and his parents, he agreed to do a 30-foot fall on a cable off the actual cliff. But he wanted one thing in return. He wanted a BB gun. So he performed the cable fall and was given his BB gun as payment.
Talk about I want it now.
Mm-hmm. I want a Red Ryder carbon action. He did that whole thing. He's like, what do you want? Well, I want residuals. I want this. And I want a Red Ryder BB gun with a compass in the stock, and this thing just tells time. And he got it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. Let's do a quick synopsis for this one. We'll play the trailer, and then we'll be back here with major moments to kind of walk you through the plot for this one. Macaulay Culkin delivers a chilling performance as a young boy with a dangerous secret. When his cousin, played by Elijah Wood, comes to stay, a terrifying game of survival begins. Co-starring Wendy Crewson and David Morse, this gripping psychological thriller tests the boundaries of family loyalty and uncovers the deadly consequences of unchecked evil.
You know this one? Great big gobs of greasy, grimy gopher gut, mutilated monkey meat, chocolate little piggy feet, French fried eyeballs swimming in a pool of blood. That sure tastes good.
Henry, come on down here. Behind his smile lies a secret.
Here, made two of them, so we could be brothers. Hey, Mark, come on, let's go. Where are we going?
Behind his eyes lies a plan.
Who is he? Mr. Highway. Wow. What are you gonna do with it?
And behind the image of a good son
Coming? So what are you guys up to out there? Sorry, Mom. Top secret. Where are we going? We're here.
lies the terrifying truth.
Say goodbye. But you know you did. You could have killed people. I feel sorry for you. You just don't know how to have fun. What? You're a doctor. You know things.
Well, some things.
What if there was this boy? And he did these terrible things because he liked doing them. Such a sweet little thing. It'd be too bad if something were to happen to her. Would you say he was evil?
I don't believe in evil.
You should.
When innocence is just a mask.
Do you really think I'd hurt her? You wouldn't. Poor Mark. So violent.
When trust becomes a weapon, then anyone can become the next victim.
Henry. No! Susan! If I let you go, you think you could fly?
Macaulay Culkin, the good son.
This is a real awkward sequel to Home Alone.
Yeah, I just totally, it kind of shifts.
I mean, he enjoyed what he was doing to the Wet Bandits so much that just something within him snapped, and he was never quite the same.
It's that escalation, it's that escalation. Obviously, we're gonna sing our same tune with that trailer music, because the trailer music was very, very different than the Elmer Bernstein score.
Yeah. I like that. We're kind of jumping ahead to Elmer Bernstein for a second, but yeah, I really enjoyed getting some little hints of, as I'm listening along, I'm like, ooh, I'm getting there's a little Ghostbusters moment there. I felt a few little hints of like a little Black Cauldron stuff in there. And, kind of a nice job of adding to the creepy undertones of the whole thing.
Yeah, but that trailer music was quite different.
Yeah, that was very different. That was more like 80s low budget horror movie, like psychological thriller type music.
Yeah.
All right. Well, major moments. So we've kind of broken the plot down into 10 major moments. If you have not seen the movie, we always say that you can pause us, go watch the movie, and come back. Or if you don't need to do that, and if you don't mind being a little spoiled a lot spoiled, because we're going to walk through the whole plot, we will walk you through the plot of the movie. If it's been a while since you've seen it or haven't seen it before, this is a way of doing kind of a quick fly through of what the plot is for the movie. And then after that, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about our thoughts and opinions on this. All right, major moment number one, the introduction of the characters and loss. So Mark Evans, who I believe is supposed to be about 12 years old in this, after losing his mother, is sent to stay with his Uncle Wallace and Aunt Susan in Maine, where he meets his cousins, Henry and Connie. Nothing quite like having a movie that we already know is a bit of a psychological thriller take place in Maine, which isn't that Stephen King's home stomping grounds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So nothing quite like having that connection. We start to notice some disturbing behavior. Mark notices Henry's odd fascination with death and his increasingly disturbing behavior, which escalates to from shooting at animals to killing an animal to throwing a dummy onto the Mr. Highway. Very different from Mr. Bucket. But
Buckets of fun.
Mr. Highway.
Highways of fun. I'm not really sure where that goes.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
I did. I just wasn't sure.
Mr. Highway. Fast lane of fun.
There it is.
There you go.
There, yeah, see there.
Yeah.
I think you might have a career in jingles, John.
Hey, there we go. Put your cars under my overpass.
No.
That's a better stretch.
Sounds a bit untimed
Yes.
for us.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll workshop that a little bit. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it escalates to throwing this dummy onto the highway, causing a massive, dangerous pileup of cars and RVs. So that escalated quickly. Henry actually reveals his plan to kill his sister Connie leading Mark to kind of stay up all night in her room to protect her. So things are, again, escalating fairly quickly as Henry is kind of getting more and more intense with the stuff he's telling Mark. Despite Mark's efforts, Henry nearly drowns Connie during an ice skating trip, causing her to fall into a coma. So we have this scene, he's already threatened his little sister, and we have the scene where he goes out. We don't find out till they're already gone, but he goes out ice skating with her, and there's a scene where they're kind of spinning around a bit, and then they get close to the section you're not supposed to go to because the ice is very thin there, and he shoves her, and she goes sliding, and actually ends up falling through the ice, and he makes a show of trying to help save her, but he's not really trying to grab her, and just kind of watching her as she's about to go under the water, and she does go under, but there are some folks that after spectating for maybe a bit too long do rush out and then help pull her out of the water there.
They did all just sort of stand there and twiddle their thumbs.
Yeah, they did, kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe let's move a little faster there next time. Yeah.
Put a little hustle in it.
Yeah. So Henry and Mark, and this whole scene, then he starts to what Mark tries to do at this point is he tries to, there's other attempts on Connie's life. And he's worried about Connie. He's also worried that this might escalate, like he might get killed, somebody else might get killed. So he starts to kind of share some of his misgivings with his Aunt Susan. And there is a point a little bit later in the movie where she even confronts Henry and, takes some of what Mark has been telling her and kind of confronts him later. I don't know if you guys know, they actually did several takes of this, and I was able to find some of the audio where Henry is explaining to his mom that this is all just a big mistake, that nothing happened, and then his cousin Mark walks in, and I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but I uncovered this, so this is a 30 podcast exclusive lost audio from The Good Son.
I did not hit her. It's not true. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
So, yes.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Lost audio from The Good Son.
Man.
Here's a random question after I just played that. Which movie would you rather watch, The Good Son or The Room?
Room.
That was as fast as I thought it would be for you, Pat.
I was saying, he slammed that down hard.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. So after Henry, after we have some of these issues with Henry, Susan finds a missing rubber duck that belonged to Henry's younger brother, which we have learned throughout the movie that he died. The younger brother died. And I believe we had found out that his younger brother had drowned. They drowned in the bathtub or something like that. And there was this missing rubber duck that apparently had been Henry's at one point, was taken from Henry and given to the younger brother Richard. And then after Richard's death, Henry took it back because it was his to begin with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that sounds normal.
Sure.
Yeah.
And clearly, this is from 30 years ago, so clearly we don't know the rules about, sharing rubber duckies with Jeep owners yet. It's, you don't take a ducky, you give a ducky. So, we'll learn that 30 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But
I apparently have missed something.
Oh, you don't know about the whole Jeep thing with the duckies?
No.
Yeah, if you own a Jeep, you're supposed to leave a ducky on somebody else's Jeep. If you see another Jeep somewhere, you're supposed to leave a little rubber ducky. Have you seen the Jeeps that have on their dash, they have a ton of rubber duckies on there?
No, I guess I haven't noticed.
Check out some Jeeps. Yeah.
So that's an interesting concept in an area like ours where Jeeps are aplenty.
There's a ton of Jeeps. Yeah.
I'm looking for rubber ducks now.
Yeah,
me too. That's interesting.
You have to keep a giant box of rubber duckies in your back seat. Yeah. No, it's a thing. Like I think it started during the pandemic, and it was specifically a Jeep owner thing. Like if Jeep owners see other Jeeps and
Well, I mean, I know the
rubber
old
ducky.
adage, it's a Jeep thing you wouldn't understand. Like, I've heard that before.
Right, and this was a Jeep thing you didn't understand.
Indeed.
Right. When Susan confronts Henry about the rubber ducky, you're the one. Henry, I just realized the rest of that song, and it takes a dark turn.
Uh-huh.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time so much fun. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Susan confronts Henry about the rubber duck, and he's got a fairly nonchalant reaction to her accusations. And he gets kind of violent when it comes to the rubber ducky, and, he kind of wrestles it away and runs away from his mother. And, we're kind of maybe finally starting to see that there's clearly something wrong with this kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
If the previous hour and 15 minutes of the movie didn't convince you, it was definitely getting possessive of the rubber duck.
Correct. Yeah, because that's typical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As Susan and Mark have grown closer, Henry becomes jealous and threatens Susan's life at this point, which leads to a bit of a fight between Mark and Henry. Susan does finally confront Henry about his younger brother's death during a walk in which Henry admits he may have killed his brother. And in a fairly violent turn of events, Henry pushes his own mother off a cliff. And as she dangles from a branch, Mark and Henry fall over the edge, and Susan must choose who to save in this situation. So, yeah, it's movie almost ends on a cliffhanger, and it's a real Susan's choice.
Oh man, he doubled, Bo. He doubled on that.
That is, there's a lot happening there.
I double fisted that one. Yeah.
A lot to.
Am I going to apologize? I don't think I'm going to apologize.
Probably not.
No, I'm not going to. Yeah. So Susan, unable to hold on to both boys, takes a look at Henry and says, Indiana, let it go. And then she drops Henry, and he falls to his death.
Which is just some really dark crap, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't, pulling back the curtain for folks, we've recorded some stuff a little out of order here. Earlier tonight, we recorded the episode that will come out next week, and that is Indian Summer, which is a feel-good movie about a bunch of friends going to a summer camp. And you feel warm and fuzzy after you've seen the movie. You don't so much feel warm and fuzzy after watching this one.
No.
No. Not a whole lot of warmness, not a whole lot of fuzziness. Just psychotic rubber duckies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know typically we try to reserve some of our opinion parts for once we get past the major moments part of this. But I need to throw this out here now. Why was he in the middle of the desert at the end of the movie? As he's giving the contemplative voiceover monologue. When did Maine become a desert?
I don't know, John, but I'm going to go back to his eulogy that he gave. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, well, I'll never forget that day when what was the gal's name? Sharon?
Susan.
Yeah. When Susan held us up above the cliff like that, I wasn't sure she was going to choose to save me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she'd choose to save me again.
Over her own child. Like, God.
And then he's like, so I'll never ask. And that was it. And it was just like, okay. Like, I didn't, like, what am I supposed to contemplate there? There's no big, I'm not sure.
And see, Pat, what I thought you were just going to say was, well, see, John, I don't know, and I don't care.
That's what it's kind of coming down to.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a little confused by the ending, but yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't know. But let's I don't know. Let's plunge the scissors even deeper into our cousin's throat and think a little more deeply about this one.
And now, Deep Thoughts.
I have an opinion on this matter.
Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think?
I like it a lot.
Wow. It's very deep. Thank you.
All right. So when did we first see this, and do we like this movie? I had not seen this movie before, and I think as a psychological thriller, this movie had potential, but I did not like it. Like I'm up for a good psychological thriller. I'm up for a good horror movie, and I always think that creepy kids are a decent way to do that. You know, to take something innocent and good and pure and you know, make it evil. That's always a good way to make things extra creepy. But yeah, I don't know, just not executed well. You know, and even, you know, I thought with the kids, the acting performances were okay. I felt Elijah Wood was better than Macaulay Culkin. What I know about this is I know that the executives, I think it was Fox that originally was going to do this. The executives were like, hey, Home Alone, huge movie. Silence of the Lambs, huge movie. What if, and hear me out, what if we mix the two? And I honestly believe that's how this movie came to be. Because I had read up a couple things that they were like, yeah, that made a bunch of money, that made a bunch of money. What if we did something that kind of like mixed those two ideas and made even like more money?
The search for more money.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Bo, had you seen this before?
The option, the option for this movie, I guess, was to, you know, have somebody accidentally leaves Hannibal Lecter home alone, and he's got to stop the home invaders from coming inside by eating them. I guess that was the other option, but
that would be one option.
You know, that's a slightly different take on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Having some friends over for dinner.
Make sure we have some fava beans.
And a nice Chianti. Yeah, so Bo, you had seen this one before.
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts on it? As we're lambasting it, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I wasn't looking forward to seeing it again. It's not something that's on my list of, gosh, gotta see that.
Mm-hmm.
But it never, I guess it didn't bother me as much, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like I said, it's not something I'm rushing out to go see.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not a super big fan of this movie. You're right. Like, you know, Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood are, you know, really good. I mean, I think they definitely bring this to life. Right. But I don't want to hate on the movie just because I don't like, you know, the way it goes or the way the plot unfolds and all that kind of stuff. And again, I don't want to yuck someone else's yum. That's been my new leaf that I've tried to turn over in the last few months. So I would just say, observing, you know, objectively as I could be, it seems like this movie does what a lot of thriller, maybe horror adjacent type movies do, that I think we've watched for the pod in the last couple of weeks and so forth. But it stays on a very superficial level, this movie, right? Like you're put into situations where it's like, oh my God, what would you do? You know, oh my gosh, you're holding your kid and your nephew, and your kid is evil, and your nephew you're trying to save, you can only save one. What do you do? Or, hey, you know, you're screwing around with your cousin, and then he like throws Mr. Highway off the bridge and calls him Big X. Oh my gosh, what would you do? You know, like that's what this movie does, is it just puts you in these situations where you go to your aunt, hey, like something's going on with my cousin, your son, like he's going to smack. Don't bring this to me again. Okay, not helpful. Goes to talk to his uncle. Kid's already there. Okay, not helpful. Calls home, or to his dad. Yeah, I'll get there soon. I'll get there soon. And then like he doesn't show up. Okay, so like, what do? You're totally cut off. No one believes you. You know, and I mean, so I think that aspect of the movie, it does, you know, really well, is it's just like, oh my gosh, like how would you get out of these situations? But where I say it's superficial is that's all there really is. It's just these different situations that, you know, Frodo Baggins is trying to kind of work his way out of or survive. They never really delve into why did he kill his brother, or why did the mom decide to suddenly go from smacking her nephew because he suggested that her son was, you know, not all he was supposed to be, and she smacks him, and then jumps to kind of calling her son out, and you know, like, oh, maybe he's not all right. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so did you have some suspicion from but that's
well, she does find the rubber duck, right?
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot of critical plot points hanging on a rubber duck. You're exactly right, though. And I'm not like calling shenanigans on what you say. You're exactly it. It was the rubber duck, but it's like, you know, if this movie's supposed to be a psychological thriller, well, I think I need more than a rubber duck in terms of why did mom switch from one child to the other? Why was this kid so evil in the first place? Why, you know, it's only superficial. The movie doesn't really seek to explain or interrogate or show or demonstrate or anything with these bigger plot points and bigger themes. Basically what they do is they just put you in one uncomfortable situation after another, and then just kind of make you go, oh man, what would I do? Oh man, that's scary. Ugh. And it does that well, but it's just like, I just, you know, I want a little bit more. But I know there's people that like thrillers like this and they enjoy it, so I'm not going to yuck your yum. It just wasn't my personal yum. That's all I'm saying.
Add to the list of phrases I never thought I'd hear spoken on this podcast. That's a lot of critical plot points to hang on a rubber duck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There it is, man. There it is.
Yeah. Guys, we've hit the big time. Yeah.
You're gonna see that written down, and you know, someday.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably my criticism of the movie. I mean, there are several things to criticize, I think, about the movie, but you know, the genre, the subgenre of the creepy kid, you know, this movie was probably, you know, slightly or not so slightly influenced by a movie from the 50s, I believe, called The Bad Seed, which was an old black and white movie where a little girl is, you know, acting in very much the same way as Henry's character in this one. But yeah, I mean, I think my criticism of the movie, maybe my biggest criticism of the movie, you know, the ending is weird, but I wanted to understand why the kid was doing this.
Yep.
Like if a child, there's something about if an adult comes across as pure evil and we're not sure why. Like, I think of the blending of the two movies. If that's really what they were trying to argue and say, hey, yeah, let's blend Home Alone and Silence of the Lambs. It's, I think, easier for me to understand, and I'm okay with not getting a whole lot of the reasons behind why a Hannibal Lecter is a serial killer. Because he's an adult. And I just know that he's an adult. You know, he seems to be an as much of an evil person as a person can be. And do I need to have it explained why he is a serial killer and, you know, the motivations behind why he does what he does? You know, I don't know that I really need that for the adult character of Hannibal Lecter. But I feel like for a child, for someone who is supposed to be roughly age 10 or 12, let's say, I feel like I need to have a pretty clear idea in this movie of how did this kid get this way? Like his parents seem like they are pretty level-headed people, and they seem like they're kind people. The little sister is kind. You know, what is, I guess one of the things is, what is this movie trying to tell me other than look at this creepy, evil child? He is relentless. He will not stop, and he has no remorse. He's like a Terminator. But like, why? Was it, because, and I feel like they started to hint at a few little things like, was he jealous of his younger brother when he got, does it all hinge on a rubber ducky? He got the rubber ducky taken away and given to his younger brother. Is it jealousy? Like, is that what started this? I mean, you would think that the parents would have seen something in his, if he was this messed up at this young of an age and doing these kind of things, you would think that maybe the parents would have seen something. They don't seem like they are, you know, abdicating their responsibilities as parents. They seem like they are pretty good parents. So I think that's where this falls apart a little bit for me, is if you're going to show me a kid that is this evil, like I feel like with a child, I need to see some reasons as to why, like what got him to this place. And I don't get any of that.
No, we're kind of treated to like the writing equivalent of the movie Speed. You know, it's like the movie just basically does pop quiz hotshot. Your cousin is, you know, threatening to kill your other cousin. What do you do?
Right.
And at no point can you say, okay, well, why again is this kid doing this? What? Okay, we're not going to do it. What would you do? Oh, you got to be shocked, you know? So I think that was, and like I said, I kind of have gotten that vibe every once in a while. And some of the thrillers we've watched in the last year or two, as we've gotten into these thriller movies of the 90s, it's just like some of them are like really good and, you know, kind of in depth and they explore these things. And then some of them are just like, okay, and I'm repeating myself, but it's just like, okay, they're not explaining the why. They're not really setting it up. I mean, it just, and I'm not going to judge it, because if people like to be thrilled like that, hey, that's your thing. I'm more power to it. But it's just like, I think what's happening now, if we start to look for that deeper level, we start to pick the movie apart a little bit because it just isn't there.
Yeah. We just have the creepy Macaulay Culkin, like, showing up randomly, it seems to be like omniscient and like knows everywhere that Mark is, and like Mark is doing something in another room, and all of a sudden Macaulay Culkin's, you know, Henry walks in and is like,
oh, hi, Mark.
Like every single time. And it's just like, well, okay, I'm not doing anything. Didn't touch anything. I'm not, just minding my own business here. Just, yeah. But, I mean, that's all we get, is that he'll pop in and he seems to know everything that's going on, and he seems to know exactly what to say to the adults, and he knows, you know, this is a very, you know, seems like a hyper intelligent young kid.
Sociopath. Don't forget.
Who just
sociopath.
Yeah. Who just absolutely has no remorse or no regard for anyone else, or just wants to do what he wants to do because he can do it, and feels that it's very liberating.
And that part where he was kind of getting the drop on him, I mean, some of that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Like, dang, he just outmaneuvered him. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. But again, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you acting this way? Yeah, man. Weird deal.
Yeah. So, I think it is what it is. I mean, it had some good moments in it, had some creepy stuff in it, and obviously taking Macaulay Culkin, who's gone from Home Alone to doing something like this, is a huge departure for him. And I feel like kind of from this point on, I'm not sure his career did very well after this.
Yeah.
Kind of a bit of faltering after this point. So I don't know, and I don't know which. I think he did a few more kids movies after this, but it might have been, it might have been interesting if he had done a mixture of things. If he had come back and done some more like psychological thriller type movies or things like that. I think they could have done something with that, but it seems to be that he went back to doing some kids movies after this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys have anything else you want to say about this one before we go to 3 questions?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then it is time for 3 questions.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Mr. Highway's thinking about the end. His arms and legs and his body will bend. I don't know. I was trying to come up with something. Wow. Yeah. I mean, these are the things I think about. Maybe I'm the creepy kid.
You're not the creepy kid.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're not the creepy.
Okay. All right. 3 questions. Question number 1. Who is the creepiest kid in a movie or TV show?
I'm going to say, and I don't remember the actor's name, and I forgot to look it up. I should do it right now. The kid from Problem Child always creeped me out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was one that just...
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that movie, I don't think.
No, you were not. I remember.
Does Chucky count as a kid? Because that's another one.
Maybe. Well, I think that counts more as a toy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Michael Oliver was the kid's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was kind of a creepy kid.
He was just that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That smile.
That's terrifying. He's the same age we are.
Boy, I have not words.
Yeah.
I might have to say this. You're right. I think Problem Child was creepy, but I really, I thought Macaulay Culkin just seemed like, ugh, in this movie.
Yeah.
Which again was like, just so everyone knows, I'm not just railing on a movie. I'm not yucking yums. Macaulay Culkin, oof. He really seemed pretty bad dude.
Yeah.
And anything else, I'd say like, what was that Next Gen episode where the kid was like the manifestation of whatever creature they were flying the ship next to would appear? Remember that one where the creature, the invisible friend?
Yeah.
Or make-believe friend or whatever.
Yeah.
That kid was a little creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch the Highlander episode or Highlander series?
Yes.
I did not.
I did.
When I realized, that things were streaming, I took some time and rewatched the entire series. I love the Highlander. What a great show. But there was one in there, spoilers for the Highlander TV series, but there was one in there where one of the immortals was a kid.
Oh, uh-huh.
And which is interesting because I thought they had to be a certain age when they died, and that's when the immortal kind of kicked in. I'm not 100% sure, but if I, gosh, now I'm wondering if this.
If you're saying a genre TV show of the 80s or 90s played a little fast and loose with their own canon, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Your point
Let's be
is well
honest.
taken. Let us be honest. No, your point is well taken. But I want to say it was one of these immortals, and this immortal was a kid and was evil and was angry that it was a kid, right? It was angry that he like came back as so he's just exacting his revenge on everybody.
Yeah.
I think I've got that right, but yeah, that one was creepy again because like it was this basically 5,000-year-old kid. So yeah, that one was a little creepy, but I don't know if they beat Macaulay Culkin in this thing.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think of like what was Kirsten Dunst's character in Interview with the Vampire?
Mm-hmm.
Like she was supposed to be, I don't remember how long she had been a vampire, but she was turned when she was a kid. What were there were like some evil, I feel like they were like evil Deadite kids in Ash versus Evil Dead.
Okay.
And you have that in a lot of horror movies. Like you have a lot of, some.
Well, to your point earlier, you take the innocence of childhood and corrupt it into something evil. It's scary.
Right. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen it now. I feel like the TV show The Strain, which was also vampires. I feel like it might have been a kid vampire in that one. There's the Swedish movie. This is a really good, if anybody wants to go see a good vampire movie, Swedish movie called Let the Right One In. Oh, very good vampire movie.
Well, you don't want to let the wrong one in. I know that much.
Absolutely do not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, creepy kid vampire in that one. I mean, there are just a ton of good. I mean, probably one of the better ones is Reagan from The Exorcist. If you want to go with like King of Creepy Kids or Queen of Creepy Kids. You got the twins in The Shining. Any of the, Village of the Damned, Children of the Corn, that kind of stuff. What was the one, was it called It's a Good Life, the Twilight Zone episode that they also did in the Twilight Zone movie, where the kid had the power to change reality and he was basically holding his entire family hostage?
I think I don't remember the title, but I
feel like the TV episode was called It's a Good Life or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but they did it as part of the movie too, and it was like there was a demonic bunny rabbit that got pulled out of a hat, and there was, he like erased his sister or somebody's mouth so they couldn't talk or scream or whatever. And I'm trying to remember, like that kid was creepy.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. Overall, I think on that one, I think I got to go with Reagan from The Exorcist. That movie terrified me.
Okay.
So I think I got to stick with that one. Although there have been some, I was saying earlier in one of our other recordings, we've been watching the TV series From, and there are some creepy kids in that show. So I would nominate them as well. All right. Question number 2. Hypothetical. Some Uruk-hai from Isengard have broken into your house. Would you rather have Frodo Baggins or Kevin McAlister there to help you deal with the invaders?
I don't know. Kevin McAlister plays dirty. I think I got to go with Kevin McAlister on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I might just split the difference with you and go Frodo Baggins.
Okay.
Because Frodo's had experience fighting orcs with swords. Yeah, but I don't know. I think a case can be made either way.
Okay. I feel like it would be fun to watch the Uruk-hai and the orcs like go tumbling down the stairs and get hit in the face with paint cans but Frodo has Sting. I'm not sure you can beat Sting.
Fair enough.
And he has the ring. So
yeah, it's kind of like you pick. He's had experience with the Uruk-hai and with the means by which to stop them.
Yeah.
So, but that's not to say that Kevin McAlister couldn't figure that out.
Right. I mean, if you gave him a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And then final question: what is your favorite Elmer Bernstein score?
This was another thing I meant to look up earlier and forgot. So let's see what I get.
Well, I'll let you do the Google. My favorite is The Great Escape.
Oh, there you go.
I think I'm going to be so disappointed that nobody's probably going to choose Leonard Part 6.
Oh, wow.
That's a phrase that has been heard several times.
Yeah.
No one has chosen Leonard Part 6.
Yeah, we end up hitting that one more often than we probably should. Oh, wow.
I don't even know what that movie's about.
Nobody knows what that movie's about.
It's best that way, honestly.
Good point.
Yeah.
Oh, the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to hit the obvious Ghostbusters was part of my problem.
Right.
Because we could all just say Ghostbuster. Stripes. That was fun.
I actually really enjoy the score for the Black Cauldron.
Yeah?
So I might have to throw that one in.
One of the strong points of a often lampooned movie.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm not going to go with the obvious Ghostbusters.
Speaking of lampoon, Animal House.
Yeah.
The soundtrack show about the Ghostbusters is really, really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Ghostbusters may be the obvious choice for me.
Yeah, because there's some of that is just so, like, it's very tonal. Like, he sets a lot of mood in some of those scenes with the background music that is just so strong.
Yeah.
It's hard not to...
But I mean, there's a bunch of movies that I love that he composed. American Werewolf in London. Yep. But yeah, I mean, you got, Magnificent Seven. You've got Pat. What was the one you said? Great Escape.
Great Escape.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so many good options. Bo, did you narrow yours down?
I think I was going to stick with... Let me keep thinking over here. It's not fair.
Yeah, I know. It hurts when I do that.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to stick with...
Wait for it.
Almost there. Almost
Stripes.
there. Stripes.
Oh.
It's away. There we go. Pat, the one-man band. All right. Well, it's a weird little movie. It's I mean, I'd say maybe it's worth a watch. Just to say you watched it.
You like thrillers? Go for it.
Yeah. If you like thrillers, if you like creepy kids, then go for it. Yeah. I I think I wished a little bit more out of it. Like I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I would have been fine if they added 10 minutes to the movie and did a little bit more developing of his character. And let me see a few more reasons as to why this kid is like this. It's more, in my opinion, it's more compelling if I know why the kid is like this rather than just he's evil. So, well, if nothing else, it gave me the opportunity to do the "Oh hi, Mark" drop a couple of times.
Exactly,
So,
which
which
hey, we got to credit where credit's due.
When that happens, I think we all win.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this one. 30podcast.com is where you can find our website with all of our past episodes, and where you'll find all of our future episodes whenever they come out. But you can also subscribe in your podcast listening app of choice. So whatever app you got, head on over there. Leave us a review. Leave us a rating in those. Apple Music reviews, Apple Podcast reviews, those help out quite a bit. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us each and every week as we talk movies here. And coming up, just kind of give you an idea of what we got coming out next. The rest of this month, the month of August, is our Family and Relationships Month. We've got My Life, Into the West, The Good Son, Indian Summer, and Adam's Family Values. Our Patreon episodes for August are Krull from 1983, and our 2 Patreon shorts are Super Mario Brothers from 93 and Night of the Sharks from 88. In September, coming up next month, is our Month of Secrets. And our regular episodes are Rising Sun, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Schindler's List, with our Patreon episodes as Return of the Jedi, and our 2 Patreon shorts, Scarface and Somewhere Tomorrow, both of those from 1983. So we have got many, many, many good things coming up over the course of the next couple of weeks or so. If you want to add something to our 500th episode celebration, go ahead on over to your favorite social media outlet and use the hashtag 30pod500, or email us, leave a voicemail on our website, any one of those ways. Smoke signals might work too, if any of us are outside and looking and you live nearby. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
like
Try
the
it,
smoke
I guess.
signals. What the heck?
Yeah, why not?
What the heck?
Why not? All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, John.
All right, everybody. We will see you back here next time. Maybe it'll be a little bit more lighthearted trip to a summer camp next time. We'll put on some sunscreen. We'll get out on the lake, and we'll feel better about ourselves.
I like to feel better about myself.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies, and we'll see you back here next time.